Hello everyone and welcome once again to Astrodesign with your coach Lily. So to those who don't know me, I provide guidance and consulting through human design, astrology, and the gene keys and tarot as well. And this time I have a very special topic that I want to discuss with you, which called the Great Mutational Transit of the Century that has already begun. So in this video, I will talk about the change between the age of Pisces and the age of Aquarius, both astrologically and in terms of human design. In terms of the human design, it is going to be the end of the planning cross and the rise of the cross of Phoenix. So in general, some of the things that I will talk about will be, first of all, the dissolution of all support factors of the old generation, the community organization, the educational institutes, governments, dissolution of families, and more. Then the degradation of the religion and cultures, making people from community and family more individual and independent. Third, the birth of a new breed of people who will not be so human in our sense. Nutritional and digestive factors and eating meat. The end of the informative age, the beginning of the transfer of information from person to person, everyone and his own skills, the end of our reproductive abilities, changing our attitude towards sex, intimacy, and reproduction, and as well as awakening of all the people to their uniqueness and desire to behave as they please. Hence, a new problem will arise, negative egoism and turning men against each other. So astrologically, we are at the height of the transfer of the royalty place from the age of Pisces to the age of Aquarius. Every such massive change in the universe is accompanied, as in the births, by many natural disasters, by pain, diseases, and problems between people. Obviously, it does not happen overnight, but the changes are already here from the year 2020. People are increasingly showing their individuality, more egoistical and egocentric, considering their own needs first and foremost, rebelling in the system and against the authority figures, working for money mostly and not for supreme goals. And the whole concept of the family and relationship we know falls apart. People fail to find a suitable relationship, do not start families, and there are lots of fertility problems. An increase in IVF rate and a decrease in the birth rate, not because we don't want to, but because there is an increase in the damage to our fertility systems. There are more divorces around the world, failure of existing marital systems, and the coronavirus is only a small part and only one of many triggers that will be in the future until the old world as we know it today dies and something completely new will be born. The coronavirus is a blow that is first and foremost meant to increase your awareness about yourself, to let you understand what is really important in life, and also to understand that nature will always win and resisting it will not help. This is exactly what happens to us in our body. if we oppose the real nature of our body and act against its will, which leads to disease. This is also what happens from the outside in the universe. We destroy nature and expect it to be forgiving. No, not this time. In the coming years, apart from viruses and infections, we will be attacked by major natural disasters. So yes, this has also happened in the past, but the frequency and intensity this time will be different. The coronavirus has shown itself as a general rehearsal to what will be in the future. We will be physically separated from each other. We will have to learn to trust only ourselves. But if we do not help each other, we will not get through it safely. And the most important thing is that if we continue to behave not according to our true nature, it will lead to physical destruction or a message to the universe that we are simply ineffective for it and can be disposed. According to human design, in the year 2027 will be an even more critical year, because then the great mutation in the people will be born, and a new kind of children will emerge into the world, who will not be exactly human. Another claim from the human design is about the changing of the cross of planning to the cross of Phoenix that is going to rise at 2027 and will be the individual cross, opposed to the planning cross, which was more family and tribal oriented. So the cross of planning that we are finishing soon is actually became a vast mechanism of control through the community and its organization, through money and the material world. What we are experiencing now and will experience in the near future, even faster and stronger, is the end of the industrial age, the end of constructions and creation of communities, the end of educational institutions, the end of family propaganda and childbirth. We have become accustomed to having community support like hospitals, banks, laws, education, and the charity organization, yes, which can be approached for assistance anytime that we need them. But if you paid attention, all our support organizations are starting to crumble and lose control. Coronavirus is just a wake-up call and practice for something more significant to come later on. Dealing with the coronavirus worldwide had already illustrated to us how shaky and useless our major support organizations are. The only thing that can save us from troubles to come is if we are more attentive to our body and not less, and less attentive to our minds, fears, false misunderstandings. Only people who know who they are and behave appropriately with their nature will be able to survive in the new world. And here too, we have a but, which I will talk about later. So community, tribalism, religion, and culture, everything will crumble quickly until 2027 and almost won't exist in the world. First of all, it will hurt and has already broken the most potent control engine in the world, the engine of money, the economy. Because through the material world, we control our community. We prevent violation of the law and non-normative behaviors. Well, anyway, we try to do that. People sometimes can be so delusional and dumb and do things for money and even can sell their mom. The interest of the community and the tribal energy does not exist in the true nature of most people around the world. According to human design, it can be seen clearly from the map, because in the human design map, we have 36 channels, energy channels all over the map, and only 7 of them are tribal. Most of the channels are individual or collective. They don't have the energy of family or tribal in them. So family is more a part of the conditioning of our environment and wrong education that we received. After the whole community notion falls apart, what is left will feel like strange, and the people will be strangers one to each other, and all the support systems will no longer exist. The fact that there will be no more money and the economy will collapse will lead to hatred and wars. Why? Because the most important resource, according to our thinking, according to what the head tells us, will fall apart. And we will try to hold on to it in order to survive. Instead of listening to our body, we will try to find ways to gain money. The planning cross, which ends in 2027, is based on the channel of the community, the 3740 gates channel, which represent the notions that everything is built on mutual support, trust, loyalty, and contracts. And what is going on today? There are almost no person in the world that you can really trust. Lots of hypocrisy and greedy people around the world. They are very hungry for hedonism and short-term pleasures, chasing money, and still wondering why the whole world economy is so damaged. This virus has hit the most sensitive point of most people in the world, their pockets. The cross of the Phoenix speaks about forget your relatives and take care of yourself. There is no support in this cross as we have had in the planning cross in the last 400 years. The first issue to begin in 2027 is called selfishness. The lives of many people today depend on the support they receive from others, starting with the original family, the grandparents who give money to their children and grandchildren, the religious charities, etc. It will all end very soon. Everything we take for granted, electricity, hot water, hospital, banks, everything will end. And if until today you had a problem and you could find a number for whom to contact and get help or support, and that too will end. So, as well as all our protection, like policies, armies, that today trying to take responsibility, but they will as well won't be existing. The mechanism of control, it made us to not take responsibility in our lives. Do not even think, just turn for help. Listen to advertisements that will tell you how to dress and how to behave and what is good for you. All our lives to this day have been based on our ability to integrate into society, be committed and responsible, being citizens that's going to change. So after 2020 and 2021, do you really think that the government and the ministers are thinking of their people? No, no, not at all. The age of selfishness will be expressed, first of all, in the head of the fish, in our authority figures that are rotten anyway. It is impossible to save the world and everyone. It is impossible to defeat the government. It will crumble by itself. But the coronavirus and the disasters after it will succeed in this big time. In terms of institutional education, knowledge and the like. Starting around 1960, the knowledge revolution emerged into the world. The internet gained momentum and almost anything can be learned today online. But the dissolution of our support organizations will also dismantle organizations behind providing services to the community, such as internet. The knowledge will have to pass from person to person frontally. In 2027, the gates of institutional education will close. Everyone will be left with their skills and will be able to pass on to others what they have in unique way. I presume that this will be also our way of acquiring resources through mutual exchange, through barters. Because there are not going to be any money, any cash, everything is going to be in the internet with high risk of getting robbed and losing everything. So our skills will be what is going to help us to get resources. Nutrition-wise, the mutation will occur in one of the gates in the human design maps that talks about the digestion of meat. Today, more and more people are already switching to a vegetarian or vegan diet. In general, our body knows how to digest best fish and insects, more than any other food. I know that today there is flour made from crickets, and this is indeed the future. The ability to digest meat with many hormones and destructive chemistry will not stay in our bodies for much longer. Fertility and childbirth. So as I said, in recent years, there has been decrease in this subject. The reason for that are that women want to be more educated and free, homosexuality, and above all, there is significant infertility around the world. In 2027, there will be a mutation associated with the prostate gland, which will further impair men's ability to fertilize women. The few who will be able to get birth in 2027 will begin to give birth to children of new breed. Some claim that they will be similar to autism children. They will have vision problems, near blindness, muscular dystrophy, and motor and communication problems. They will not be able to speak like us. They will have telepathic abilities, and which parents will not distinguish while they are small children. What will happen most likely is that these children will be locked up in some institution because of them being too strange for us. This is a big mistake because while we are unique people, these kids who are called raves will only be one unit when at least 3 of them are close to one another, which will make them one piece and very strong. When together, these children will have the ability to kill somebody telepathically. This is what human design predicts. So why all this happening now around the world? There are few years left until the big mutation. Since the coronavirus started in 2020 and until 2027, there are 7 years. Why 7 years? In the Torah, 7 is a very important number. It says there that the world was created in 7 days. We have 7 days a week, and every 7 years we get a whole new body, because there is a regeneration of all our cells, and the cells that regenerate the most slowly are the bone cell. Therefore, this is our last call as the human race to get on the right train. This is not just about waking up about yourself and behaving less how you are told on the outside and more how you want from the inside. No, this is an awakening call to your true self and improved version of yourself. But suppose there will be people, most likely, that will be awakened their true but negative nature, not the positive one, and do what they want, especially since there will no any control system or organization. There won't be any reward for positive behavior from the governments. It won't exist. So in this case, everything will only lead to chaos. People will turn against each other, and many people will behave as they please. There will be no enforcement organization, as I said, because it is also part of the tribal old generation. Yet we were not born for fears and suffering, frustrations and resentment. Once you know who you are, what your uniqueness is, and how to behave with it at a positive frequency, without, of course, harming others and for your benefit, only then can you be saved. Be courageous and make the right decisions in life. It's not the time to be frightened. This is the time to break free from conditioning, support from others, and the search for outside powers. It is advisable to understand who you are and how you can rely upon your own energy. For this, I invite you to your individual interpretation or that of your children, so that you can go through this period and beyond in successful manner. I gladly will contribute to finding your inner authority and the right strategy for you to rely on in a time of need. I wish you all to be healthy and take care. Bye-bye.